And we're live. Hey, welcome. You are at the Come Cook With Me show. My name is Laura Hall, and we are in my beautiful kitchen. I just love cooking in here, and I'm just loving to do this program live with you from our new location. So I so appreciate everybody. So if you're new to the show, if this is the first time you're watching, please remember in our community, we just love to share love. That's what my recipes are all about, is just loving on our families, loving on our friends, and loving on yourself. So we love in this community. So if you say who you are, where you're from, that would be great. It's just a way for us all to get to know each other. So please go ahead and do that. And while you're at it, you may want to hit that share button because we have some really cool things that we'll be talking about in a little bit. But today, what we're going to do is make this incredible soup. I just created this recipe today. So it took me a little bit of time to get all of the ingredients, and then I realized one of the ingredients that I wanted to have, it's in the recipe that I'll be posting. So as soon as the video is over, I'll be posting the recipe. But it's fish sauce. And I forgot to get it when I was at the Come Shop With Me on Wednesday. It completely escaped my mind until I started writing out the recipe, thinking, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about that. And being here, that we just moved here, I actually don't have some of those ample supplies handy. So that's just going to be one of those ingredients we won't have. But today we are making a beautiful, very healthy, so incredibly yummy. We're making a broccoli, cauliflower with a few potatoes, not a whole bunch, just trying to make it, very, very healthy. But it's going to be very creamy, but without all of the extra calories because we've made it super healthy. So I think you're just going to absolutely love it. So what you want to do, if you have followed me, you know that we do the MEALTHY pot, we do the Instapot, and then right behind me we have this slow cooker going on with this recipe. It's been cooking for quite some time. So we've got that going on, and I always love to do this. This is one of the things that I love to do with the show is, really show the science of what happens when you cook any recipe that I'm creating in the kitchen. What actually happens? Which one is more flavorful, or which one kind of wins? So that's kind of what we're all about. So we're going to get started since this has been cooking for low and slow for quite some time. We're going to go ahead and get these Instapot, the pressure cookers started. So I'm going to hit saute, and that's what you want to do, is get saute going on each one. And I realize now, after I got started, I didn't plug them in because I was setting up, I had something else plugged in over here while I was setting up. So let me just do that, plug those two in. Beautiful. And I'm going to hit the saute feature. And then I'll hit the saute feature over here. Start. All right, these are gonna, I love it when they talk to each other. They're gonna do some preheating. And while they're preheating, I'm gonna pull out my avocado oil. This particular brand of avocado oil is my absolute favorite. Chosen Foods is the brand name. But what I like about this particular one is a cold press. So there are two different kinds. If you'll go to the grocery store, and I see this in the health food store, I see it at Publix. I don't know. We have a wide variety of people who are watching all over the world. In fact, I had a girlfriend who just signed up on our team in the Netherlands, and she's like, I can't wait to see your show. I love your show. So it was just a really fun experience this afternoon. But some of these brands aren't going to be where you might be living. But what I want to do is stress that you want to find something that is non-genetically modified, so no GMO. Something that's very important, and when we're cooking, when we're trying to be thinking and making great choices, that's one of the things you want to do. And anything that's organic, that's one of the things that are really critical when you want to strive to make the best choices for your family and for your own health. So we're going to go ahead and put a couple of tablespoons in the bottom of each one of these so that we can saute our onion. Okay, beautiful. So I've got some onion that I'm going to put in. I've just diced up some sweet onion. It's a large onion, or one of these is a large onion, and the other one, because they didn't have two large ones, are two small ones together. All right, I'm going to stir those up a little bit. Let that start to heat up. So the other thing that I love to do in many of my recipes, seldom do I not do this, but we do some advanced prep work. And one of the things that we do is we take our garlic, our organic garlic, number one, but we take our garlic and we put it in the oven to roast it and just get it a little soft, and really, really, just the texture is so incredible. But what's really great is that it takes that hard bite out of the garlic. It just makes it just so much more flavorful in everything that I cook with. So I really love to do that. And this recipe, when I post it, you'll see you can go any range from 6 to 20 cloves. Well, I know our family, and our family just loves garlic. We are garlic lovers. So I have quite a few garlics in here, and I'm not going to chop these up. I don't have to chop them up, because at the end of this recipe, when it's all done, we're going to be actually using our immersion blender. So anything that's kind of chunky, it's all going to get chopped up anyway. So you don't have to chop these up afterwards. So that's pretty awesome. Oh, this is about when I say, I wish we had smell-o-vision, because it's just incredible. All right, the other thing that I'm going to add to this while it's sauteing are just our fresh organic herbs, and I have some thyme and some rosemary. So I'm going to go ahead and put those both in right now so that they can get nice and release those flavors right into the onion, to the garlic. So beautiful. I love the fact that this camera, you can see this down into the pot, so I love that. Hopefully that's not too loud. So while that's just finishing sauteing, what I thought I would do is, a lot of people ask me questions, and I thought, well, you know, one of the things that people stress out about when I've cooked with thyme before is they don't know how to get the thyme little leaves off of the branches, because you don't really want the sticks to be cooking in there. So I'm going to show you a really easy, quick technique. Hold it at the very top, and you're going to just run your finger down against the opposite way that it's growing. So you get a clean straw just by doing it that way. So great, right? So awesome. So easy and so awesome. So that's how you take care of your thyme when you don't want to have the sticks or branches in your soups. And no one wants sticks or branches. And so the same is true, you can do that with the rosemary, but this is a very, it was a hearty stalk. The other one was as well. And so these, what I do is I just peel them back and pull them off. But you can also, you know, snip directly. Oh gosh, I just love when you put rosemary on your hand. It smells so incredible. Yummy. Okay, looks like these are done. Oh yeah, they're translucent, so I'm going to hit cancel for both. Perfect. Give it a nice little stir. Oh, that rosemary just made it smell so great. Such a beautiful savory soup. Okay, so now we're ready for the first part of the ingredients. Now what's going to be happening is like I said, most of the soup is our cauliflower and broccoli. So I've just gone ahead and taken a full head of cauliflower, and I split up a half of broccoli in each one. So we're going to go ahead and put those in. Oops, got two of those guys that make it. set those off to the side. Now, take a look. These pots are getting pretty full. And that's great. That's exactly what we want to do because we're going to use just a few potatoes. So those people who are trying to stay with a keto-friendly recipe, this is really, really keto-friendly. You can skip altogether any of the potatoes, or you can add in just a few. So in this bowl, I actually have 3 small golden Yukon, and I have some of the ones that were left over from last week's cooking show. So they're really, really tiny. So I'm going to just scoop a handful. I may scoop 2 handfuls just to see how it looks, because I want to get into the bottom of this bowl. So I guess I'm just going to layer, it's less than a cup, because this was about a full cup in each one of these bowls. So that's what we're going to do. It's so awesome that for a potato soup, which I love, a creamy potato soup, you don't really have to, when you have these incredible vegetables, you don't really have to have that many potatoes. Okay, so the next ingredient, which gives it some beautiful protein, and it just thickens the soup so beautifully and so naturally, is we're going to use some quinoa. And I've got some tricolor quinoa and some regular quinoa. So I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of both, and I'm going to use a cup. And again, it's okay if you don't measure it 100%. So half a cup there, almost a half a cup there. Quinoa is just such a wonderful soup and stew. Anytime you're making a soup or a stew, it's just such a wonderful, wonderful thickening agent that it's such good quality and healthy for you. It's just wonderful. And you know, I have very little left in this bag, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the rest of it. Why not? And again, whenever you're buying your quinoa, you want to make sure it's organic. You want to make sure there's no GMO, so it's always certified, no genetically modified organisms. So GMOs are, well, I actually have posted about GMOs, and I may do so again because I had a lot of people who asked some great questions from the last week's show. But GMOs, you know, that's like putting toxins automatically in the food and you're consuming them. And so, you know, I'm a health coach, and we try to take the toxins out of our body by doing cellular cleansing. So it just doesn't match to have them both. So we try to operate with having as much organic and non-GMO as we possibly can. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, if you're completely vegetarian and vegan, you're going to want to get a really great vegetable broth. I particularly love this Pacific Organic blend because it has very, very low sodium. So the Pacific brand is the one that I love. And so I'm going to actually make one of these completely vegetarian. Everything about it will be completely vegan and vegetarian. And the other one I'm going to make with bone broth because I know my husband, and he's not 100% vegan and vegetarian, although he does eat our meals when we cook them that way. But this one, there we go. Perfect. So we're going to use the whole container. And so with this one, he said, why don't we go ahead and have one of each? So that's what we're going to do. And so what we have here is bone broth. I like the chicken unsalted one, but you can use any one that you really prefer. But this, again, Pacific, what I like about this one is that the sodium is so low compared to any of the ones that are out on the marketplace. And there's no sugars in it. So I love that. And I love the fact that it's organic and non-GMO. So that means that it's just really going to be so beautiful for your body. And when you eat well for your body, it just, you know, your body responds beautifully. We have these amazing machines, our bodies are. And so when you treat them well and you respect them with really great foods, it's just perfect. It couldn't be better. Okay, I think that is going to be absolutely wonderful. And no, it's not going to be covering the top this time. And I'll explain that to you in a little bit. So now it's time to add some of our spices. And this is the fewest amount of spices that we ever use in most of my recipes, because those that follow me I use a lot of spice. So the first one that we're going to use is a celery salt, and I don't measure my spices. It's one of the things that I just don't. I kind of see what it looks like, and I know what I need to add. But for those of you who are really keyed on being able to have a measurement, there are actually measurements in the recipe. So it's really easy to follow along. So we're going to have some celery salt in here. And the next spice that we're going to use is our Japanese 7-spice. If you haven't found this particular spice, I recommend finding it. It's one of my all-time favorites. And when you read the ingredients of what they have in here, it's just so wonderful. So there's red pepper, there's Szechuan pepper, there's ginger, there's white and black sesame seed, orange peel, and I think it's the orange peel that I don't know. But when you combine all of these together, it's just so yummy. So it's one of my favorite spices. My all-time favorite, we'll talk at last. All right, so we've got that added. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some bay leaves. So you want to add 1 or 2 bay leaves. If they're real small, go ahead and add 2. This one is a small one. So, and this is a big enough one, so we don't need more than that. Perfect. And then the next spice we're going to use is a hot Hungarian paprika. And it was so funny, last week's show I had so many comments on how hot everything was. And I've got to tell you, that soup, it did not turn out hot, or spicy. And I actually gave it to several people and they thought it was going to be super spicy, the tortilla soup, and it was not. So I actually thought it might be as well because of all the things that we had in it. So the next thing we're going to do is ground cumin. And I did have a suggestion to try to have the ingredients all have a picture. It was such a great suggestion. I just didn't get around to it. My week has been absolutely crazy. Some people are just blowing up my phone in my work mode. So I didn't get a chance to do that. But it's a great suggestion, so I am going to take advantage of incorporating that. And then we have ground white pepper. I like to use a white pepper in this particular recipe because even though it's got a couple colorful spices, most of the soup is going to turn out when it gets emulsified that it's going to be really creamy white. So I try to stick away from the red pepper or the black pepper. So the last 2 spices are my absolute favorite spices of all time. And they've been created by a teammate of mine on my nutrition team. And his name is Dan Oliver, and he has created these Dano spices. Now, to get these spices, you either have to go online, so any of the people who have received Dano spices, feel free to go online and make a post about how to get them. But if you live in Kentucky, you're able to pick them up, or Louisville. I'm not sure all of the places in Kentucky, like overall Kentucky, but in Louisville, you can find them pretty much at every Paul's or several grocery stores that Dan has gotten into. But they're just wonderful. They've been created along the same design of no GMO. The flavors and the spices that he uses in here are just phenomenal. So this one's a little more savory. So it has garlic, sea salt, onion, parsley, lemon peel, orange peel, and cayenne pepper. I love that. And this one is a little spicier. So it has cayenne pepper, parsley, lemon peel, and orange peel. So this one's more for steak, seafood, pork, and this is just like pretty much everything else. So I like to use them both in everything that I'm cooking with. And especially when I'm putting the vegetables on the grill, oh, it's just so simple, so yum. So when you say hi and who you are and where you're from, you get entered to win the spices. And I realized I forgot to do the random generator to see who's going to win that. So I'll have to do that after the show and announce it and send the winner. I did make all the list of the people who are signed up for the MEALTHY pot. But that's it, guys. That's all you have to do. So let me tell you, this is a 2-part recipe. And I'm going to take pictures as we go. But this is going to be closed up, and we're going to cook it on high for 20 minutes. You can use the soup function too. I think the soup function's a little bit longer, but I find 20 minutes is just more than enough. So you can hit soup, or you can hit, that got a little hot. You can hit soup, or you can hit 20 minutes manual. And you're gonna let it do a natural release for 10 minutes. So once you hit it on high pressure cook, let it naturally release for 10 minutes and then release the steam. And once you release the steam, you're gonna use these other ingredients that I have over here. So you're gonna use our Boathouse is one of my favorite brands. You can pick whatever plant-based milk protein that you like. I like this one because it's unsweetened. The protein is so high. It's such a great high content of protein. Non-GMO, it's organic. I love this. So this is one of my favorite. And I'm gonna judge how much to put in. I usually put in 2 to 3 cups, but I just have to see how it's blending up, because I also add this other couple of things. We're gonna use a whole container of our Kite Hill almond milk yogurt. So this is just wonderful. It's non-GMO, it's organic, and it's almond milk yogurt. So that goes in, the entire container at 16 ounces is gonna go in. And then we do a half a cup of each of our dairy-free mozzarella style shreds and the pepper jack shreds. So those will go in first with the yogurt, and then we'll decide whether it's 2 cups or 3 cups of the milk. And you'll know when you're actually putting it in. So when you get all of those stirred together and mixed together, you're gonna take your immersion blender, and again, I'll take video or picture of it all so you can see, and you'll just take your immersion blender, plug it in, and get it all nice and smooth and creamy, and voila, you'll have a soup. And how I have it set up to serve the soup, if you're staying gluten-free, you won't use the bowls that I've created, but you can get a gluten-free bread to make it really super simple, especially as it starts getting cold outside. It's just such a wonderful soup to have. But I picked up these bread bowls, and last time I made a soup like this and we used a bread bowl, we got some smaller ones made at Publix, but I'm new to this community and I don't know the baker very well yet, so I just went to Panera and picked up what they had. They have these beautiful sourdough bowls, and so what you're gonna do is, they've already have them pre-cut, so you'll just open them up. And what I do when I serve them, or recommend for people to do, because we'll put it on a plate, but just kind of scoop out more. You don't need as much bread in there at all, because the soup is just so incredibly wonderful. So I would kind of carve out a whole bunch of that, and then you'll ladle your soup right into it. It's just a wonderful, fun presentation. And then for garnishes, what I love to do is I have 3 different garnishes set up. And I'll show them to you and take a picture. So we have some scallions, and we have some chives, and we also have some dairy-free Parmesan shreds. And again, if you're not completely concerned about dairy-free and you want to use some Parmesan that is just freshly ground, you can do either one. But I really tried to create a completely vegan recipe this time. I have so many people who follow me that are vegetarian, and they really, really appreciate it when I just can strictly stay that way. So that's why I went ahead and made one of those pots specifically that way. But for the guests that we have coming for dinner, we're just gonna let everyone be able to choose, and they'll get to see which one that they prefer. So I'm just gonna set these aside over here. I'm gonna get these Instant Pots started in just a wee bit. We'll put the lids on. Remember, when you put your lid on, you'll hear it chime, and then you'll hear that it's locked in place. And then you want to make sure that your vent is completely closed so that you can build up pressure. And there's the multi-pot, and that's in the closed position. So they're ready to get started. But since it's only going to take 20 minutes and an extra 10 minutes for releasing of steam, and I have some people who are traveling on the road, I'm not going to hit go yet. So let's just assume that we did, but as soon as we do that, I'll make sure we take pictures and we'll post it in the post below. So that's how easy this recipe is, and it's so super simple and so beautiful. Now I will say, you know, because it's a milk, it's non-dairy, So it does freeze better than a traditional dairy product would. I would say that I would just keep as much in the refrigerator and have it all week long. But if you want to freeze it, it will freeze. It's just harder when you thaw it out. There's just a few tricks that you can use. But that's it. Now the fish sauce is the other thing I would have been added. I don't have the fish sauce, but it is in the recipe that'll be posted. All right, so now it's time to learn who won the MEALTHY Pot. I've partnered, or not really partnered, but MEALTHY Pot has been watching my show, the creators of the MEALTHY Pot, and they said, you know, how would you like to have one? And they sent me one. And so I've been comparing and contrasting it with the Instapot, and quite honestly, they're just, you know, it's just a fantastic design. The features of what they put in the box are just pretty phenomenal, what you get in the particular box. And the way that it cooks, I mean, so far, every recipe that we have cooked so far, it completes first, it heats to pressure first, it completes the cooking time first, because it's obviously, it's just, it hits temperature and then it's the same time. So it's just really, really kind of cool to watch how that all happens. And there are pressure cookers all over. So what's really neat is that you can use whatever pressure cooker and find the recipes that you love and just adjust them to how fast and how hot everything gets. But the science behind each of these pressure cookers is pretty much the same. So that's what I love. But let's go ahead and take a look at who is going to win this week's MEALTHY Multipot. So how do you get entered to win? All you have to do is hit that share button, share this video. It's always great when you make comments. I love seeing the comments that people make when they share the video and the recipe. So feel free to do that. And a couple of people have been very wise. They're in some other Facebook groups and they're like sharing it. I had one person share 3 different Facebook groups. So very smart. Because every time you share it, you get entered to win. So good luck to the person who's going to win. And like I said, the spices for the Dano spices, I forgot to do the random generator. I was just running a little bit behind, so I'll make sure I do that and everyone will know. All right, so good luck. I always love this part. I'm just going to stir them up a little bit. Okay. Ready? Drum roll. If somebody's doing a drum roll. We need to do a drum roll. Okay. I've got one in my hand. All right. Good luck. Don't know who it's going to be, but let's see. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Eileen Miller. Congratulations. You won the MEALTHY Pot. So I'll get your address. We'll get it sent to you, and I'm really excited for you. So if you want to have a chance to win a MEALTHY Pot for yourself, just hit that share button. And that's it for the show today. I mean, it's just such a wonderful meal. I can't wait to see how people enjoy it and share their pictures with us all. If you do make it tonight or tomorrow, feel free to add your pictures onto the post as well. So everyone have a blessed and wonderful weekend. And we won't see you next week. Next week I'm at a big retreat for our Founding Growth leaders. So I think what I'll do is I'll bring my camera and we'll do some fun, because we're doing some fun cooking in the kitchen, making incredible meals for all of the people who are participating. So I'll just bring the video and we'll probably have some fun there. Okay, so we won't actually have a traditional show. I'll play a replay of maybe this week's show or what we did a year ago, because we've been doing these shows for now almost a year, and let's see, it's going to be 2 years in April that we will have been doing these shows. I cannot even believe that. That's just crazy and mind-blowing to me. But thank you for joining, and we'll see you next week somehow, and just have an incredible, beautiful weekend. All right. Sending lots of love to you all.